Commission's order, please. First item on the agenda is to adopt the agenda. And need a motion for that.
I make a motion to adopt the agenda.
And I second that motion. So, Lisa, if you will, please read the minutes from the last meeting. Good.
Public hearing Thursday, May 9th, 2019, of the Planning Commission. Robert Walker, acting as Commission Chairman, called a meeting to order promptly at 6 p.m. Chairman Walker asked that the agenda be reviewed and approved by the Commission. Martha Poole made a motion to approve the agenda. Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Motion carried by 2-0 with Chairman Walker's vote not necessary. City Manager Brandon Douglas read the minutes of the November 30, 2018 public hearing. Martha Poole made a motion to adopt the minutes as read, and Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Motion carried 2-0 with Chairman Walker's vote not being necessary. Chairman Walker recognized Sonny Underwood, Director of Planning and Zoning, and City Manager Brandon Douglas to present to the Commission a request from Rachel Davenport of Davenport Group Investments, LLC, applicant, to request a zoning change on parcel number JA1509069, located at 634 South Main Street. The parcel is owned by Davenport Group Investments, LLC. He stated the applicant is requesting the property be changed from R1 residential to C1A office residential. Chairman Walker recognized the applicant, who stated that the residence would be used for office purposes and would have approximately 2 clients per week. There were no public in attendance to support or oppose the rezone. Chairman Walker entertained a motion. Martha Poole made a motion to recommend that the City Council approve the zoning change. Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Martha Poole stated that she had heard from some neighbors in the area that were not receptive to the rezone. Chairman Walker called for a vote. Luke Copeland voted in favor. Martha Poole voted against. Chairman Walker voted to break the tie and voted in favor of the rezone. Chairman Walker recognized Mr. Underwood and Mr. Douglas to present to the Commission a request from Land Bridge Acquisitions, LLC, the applicant, to request a change in zoning of a portion 3.65 acres of parcel number 041015 located at 1317 West Church Street from C2 General Commercial to R3 High Density Multifamily Residential. The parcel is owned by Bob Wigington as trustee of Wigington family. Mr. Douglas stated that the applicant is requesting the property be rezoned as R3. Mr. Douglas stated that the applicant was planning to build 48-unit apartment housing for age 55 and older. He stated that this is a portion of a larger tract of an approximately 15-acre tract which has been surveyed out of the parcel. Chairman Walker recognized Gary Hammond representing Land Bridge Acquisitions, LLC. Mr. Hammond presented the plans for the property. Chairman Walker entertained a motion. Martha Poole made a motion to recommend that the City Council approve the zoning change. Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Martha Poole voted for the zoning change, and Luke Copeland voted against. Chairman Walker broke the tie by voting in favor of the zoning change. Motion carried 2-1. Chairman Walker recognized Mr. Douglas to present to the Commission a request from Manitoulin LLC applicant to request annexation of parcel number 0410190001 located at 63717 Camp Road into the city of C2. The parcel is owned by Manitoulin Investments, LLC. Mr. Douglas stated the applicant is requesting the property be annexed into the city as C2 property in order to obtain city utilities. Chairman Walker recognized Mr. David Schaus of Manitoulin Investment, LLC, who presented his plans for the property. Chairman Walker entertained a motion. Martha Poole made a motion to recommend that the City Council approve the annexation into the city of C2. Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Motion carried 2-0 with Chairman Walker's vote not being necessary. Chairman Walker recognized Mr. Douglas to present to the Commission a proposed amendment to the city's zoning ordinance. Mr. Douglas stated that at the present time, the city's zoning ordinance did not recognize vape shops. He stated that this change would define the permitted zoning. He stated that the ordinance change would permit the shops to be in C2 General Commercial as well as M1 General Industrial zoning. Martha Poole made a motion to adjourn. Luke Copeland seconded the motion. Chairman Walker adjourned the meeting.
Thank you, Lisa. Need a motion to have those approved as read.
Make a motion that we approve.
A second. Motion carried. Being no old business, if you will, Sonny, if you'll tell us about the property that we're going to have. And Mr. Douglas.
Chairman, Commission, for the public, we have tonight a request by an applicant to change zoning for parcels 065-055-002, 17 acres, located Highway 515, 065-054-003 of 5.99 acres, located Green Road, and 065-053 of 7.82 acres, located at Green Road, from C1 to RA with a conditional use of PUD plan unit development. And you have before you this evening the staff report that did an analysis of the rezone request. I'll be more than happy in concert with Mr. Underwood and/or the applicant to answer any specific questions, or I can hit the highlights of some of the staff analysis in regards to the request and kind of how we arrive at our recommendation.
You could go over those, please.
Yes, sir. In the PUD zoning district, it does allow as a conditional use under an RA zoning classification, so that is why it would be requested from a C2 to an RA. In the PUD is the plan unit development, in which it does provide for the city's mayor and council to use their discretion in terms of the site plan specific development. In this development, it is being requested for single family homes. The minimum square foot is 1,400 for the heated floor area. In regards to the land use, as it's been analyzed in accordance with our zoning ordinance, section 94-43, it does allow for this proposed rezoning. Although it's commercial in nature, the surrounding land uses are of a residential use. Therefore, it would be recommended that this is a permitted type of land use. It would not appear as though that this would adversely affect the impact of adjacent properties due to the fact that it will be a residential near area. There is a zoning analysis as it pertains to whether the property to be affected by the proposed request, if it would diminish the current zoning. I know the property has been marketed for commercial use. However, the market appears as though that it would be right for residential in light of the market need for residential units. Therefore, staff does not see any issues with the rezone request. In regards to services, there are adequate water and sewer services for the area, albeit the staff did analyze that this property is quite a bit of ways away from our fire and police precinct. However, the city is putting measures in place in the near future to address a fire station, a police station along 515. So that will hopefully come to pass and run in parallel sequence to further development along this corridor. So we did not foresee need to really hinder the project from that perspective. As it relates to the joint land use, joint comprehensive plan, we do find that the proposed residential development with some recommendations of creating some and preserving the 10% required green space that the PUD requires. That would be a requirement. So from the natural elements of doing a residential development, making sure that the property has 10% dedicated green space would be required. As well as we would recommend to the applicant to do some sort of natural greenway pathways within the development that helps as an amenity area for natural wooded area to walk and trails and things of that. As with any of our applicants that come through, we do make it a recommendation that with any sort of staff recommended approval, that they do adhere to the zoning ordinance, section 94 of the Jasper zoning ordinance. In your staff analysis, you'll see that we've enumerated that all the sections 94.11, 94.148, 94.209, 94.149, 94.183, section 70-9. All of these regulations are standard in our zoning ordinance, and the applicant, in concert with the developer and their civil plan designer, would reference the zoning ordinance and be required to adhere to those standards.
How many units will there be in this?
I would defer to the applicant. I know that, I believe here, his representative is here this evening.
Sir, could you come up?
Sure.
Your name?
Dean Woodall?
Okay.
Yeah. This particular site has some wetland area on it and stuff, so we're really not sure how many lots we're going to go out with. We're expecting somewhere 5.5 units to the acre at the most. So somewhere 160 to 180. You know, it might be 140. You know, when you really get it done, the maximum would be 180. But yeah, I mean, we just don't. You really don't ever know until you get in it. It usually ends up a lot less than we think. You know, but the maximum would be 180.
And just for the record, the PUD zoning district does allow up to 8 dwelling units per acre. As the applicant stated, they would work with staff should the mayor and council approve this, that as long as they adhere to the standards of the zoning district and any stipulations put, then they'd be well within their 5.5 to 6 units per acre.
And there is adequate water and sewer?
Yes, sir.
To the front? Okay, thank you, Mr. Woodall.
So, excuse me, what you just said, does that cover all these dwellings?
But no.
There's not gonna be no apartment buildings, they're all gonna be single lot,
Right.
single family dwellings?
Yes, yeah, no apartments.
And your name, sir?
Wayne Eaton, I own property next to that.
Okay. Anybody else, sir?
Yes, you're saying 100 to 160 some houses. You figured even 2 cars per household down there, what kind of a strain it's going to put on Worley Cross Road and 515. There's no lights down there. We are already having accidents when we come into Cherokee County, or from Cherokee into Pickens County. Worley Cross Roads, you're having accidents all the way down there to Racetrack and 108. Now we're going to pour over 200 more cars in that same area. And it's like we say, your police force up here is going to have to be enlarged for that much more. And everything. Your people for for accidents coming out there. I mean, is there going to be a study on this to find out how you're going to take care of all these automobiles? I mean, we got them right now from Bent Tree coming across Worley Cross Road. And you can talk to your officers about how their speed down through there, they're catching them. You know, that's what I'm worried about.
And your name again, sir?
Don Porter. My property is right next to it.
Okay. And ma'am?
Yes, I'm Melissa Cantrell. I'm across the street from the new property you're proposing. With regard to the additional 200 homes or ish that you're going to be adding in, again, with the comment from the gentleman behind me about the number of cars that are going to be added. Currently there is, I'm assuming you're looking at accessing the property 2515 on the current curb cut?
That would probably be a right turn in, right turn out.
Correct. So how are you proposing that they go southbound? Are you going to be cutting a new
Well,
road into road?
we would have an entrance up on Worley Crossroads. So you would either pull out of there and do like everybody does now and go down and turn at Racetrack, or go out on Worley Crossroads.
Can you tell me approximately where it's going to be coming?
I think it's kind of, can you tell where the property is? I don't know
I know exactly where it is.
I really don't know exactly where. I mean,
I have a map.
Yeah, I mean, I know where the property is, but probably in the center of that area.
I
of
got a
property.
question, might clarify a little bit. Are
Yeah.
you plan on cutting it on your own property?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
you're going up to that Green Road?
No, it would be right there on that property.
Okay.
Kind of in the center of that,
Okay.
there's like 4 acres up there.
This property
On
here.
Worley Crossroad, it'd be kind of in the center of that.
Okay, this one here.
Or probably, everywhere the best side distance is.
It touches
Way down on this driveway, all this.
right there.
So right at my house.
Yes.
Worley Crossroads is a very busy road, a lot more so than when my husband was growing up there. To the point that we can't even take walks on the road. So how are you, to the point of the traffic study, going to be addressing that? Have you talked to your civil engineers about traffic?
We've not got that far into it yet.
Are there going to be any architectural controls on the property?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there will be architectural well, I mean, we would do extensive, everything we do, every development we do, we have extensive landscaping. I'm the architectural control person as far as
So
like.
10% green space is no.
That's a minimum. That's, there's gonna be, like I said, there's a lot of, not a lot, there's a big area of wetlands on this. So I mean, there's probably gonna be 25% of this that's not gonna get used, I would guess, close to that. But again, that all kind of gets determined when you really get an engineer involved and.
I understand, I'm an architect.
Yeah.
So you say these are single-family homes, they're
Yes.
single-family per lot, not duplex, not
No,
townhomes.
Right, yes.
1,400 is the max per
Minimum,
zoning.
that's the minimum
Right.
square, heated square footage.
Right. Heat.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I guess the biggest concern, if I had to speak for my community, which I have not spoken to, is traffic and how you were going to maintain that. There is significant concern, especially for my husband and I and my son, who's going to be a driver almost already a year, less than a year, as to how traffic is going to be contained on that. If I was living in that community, I'd be coming out of Worley Crossroads to go southbound to go to work every day. So I feel like there's going to be significant impact on the road, which is already relatively, because it's a county road, it is under-maintained, in my opinion, as it is, and to put an additional 400 cars on that road, 2 per home minimum, is a lot. Have you talked to the county about how this is going to impact county infrastructure?
No, I have not. But I mean, in general, I can't control everything outside. We develop the inside the subdivision.
I understand.
And, the county will make a determination if they feel like that this road can handle it. And it just so happens, I mean, this street is like 400 yards from the interstate.
I
So
know
it's like,
exactly.
yeah, I know, but I mean, yeah, I mean, that's not something that I have the answer to. That would be something that would come up through engineering, but.
Has there been any communications between the city and the county with regard to this development?
In terms of specifically in regards to
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
A traffic light or a traffic study for the intersection of Worley Crossroads and 515, how it's going to impact Worley Crossroads. I'd be curious as to how far the new water and sewer is going to have to be run. I'm assuming you're paying for that and the city is not paying for that extension.
We're not that far into the.
Yeah, part of the staff analysis is to determine that there is availability of water and sewer to the site. In regards to the rezoning hearing, this is a time for public comments to be made so that we can then make these updates to our staff analysis, then present to the mayor and council on July 1. They'll ultimately be hearing kind of a duplicate of this. We have not spoken with the county specific to traffic. That was not an analysis of this, since it's already annexed into the city. We can certainly ask them if they have any sort of immediate plans or any plans for upgrades to Worley Crossroads. But in regards to what we do is analyze the application as presented in regards to meeting the criteria of the PUD.
And I understand that. I just would like to go on record that there is a significant impact to the county property. And I believe that that should be taken into consideration with regard to the approval of this property for this specific use.
We have noted at the staff level.
Is the staff report going to be available for public review?
Yes.
And where may I find that?
I'll give you my card afterwards and I'll email it to you.
Anyone else?
I don't know, is anybody, trying to find out if there's a possibility of a traffic light being installed? Or is that a no-go with the state? I mean, cause
That's
that,
perfect.
if these people, most of these people are probably gonna, work south of there, and it's about gonna be a lockdown. I mean, it almost is now. I mean, you can hardly turn left there at 5:15 already.
Just to clarify, part of section 94-11E is specific to GDOT review and approval required for developments along state routes. So what we would control at the staff level, city level, is the requirement for the developer to then work in concert with GDOT for any requirements. Since they already have an existing curb cut along 515, that's within their purview as to what requirements we put on the developer. So I'm not sure how that would go, other than part of what we would do is require the applicant to adhere to that section and working with GDOT.
So, I'm sorry, have you had this conversation with GDOT?
No. No, I mean, we're not that far into it, I'll be honest with you.
So as an architect, I can tell you that that could have a significant impact on your costs.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have a clue, so that's something we can look into. So, I mean, because, yeah, we can look into that.
May I ask who your civil engineer is?
Bill King, out of North Carolina.
I got one question, Brian Roberts, Greenhorn Street. If all this development comes in, we own the property right beside that where your center road comes in. We do, and she owns the one right below us.
Sure.
Are they gonna put some, is the city gonna put in some kind of privacy fence or noise reduction or anything through there? So we don't have a riprap running through our neighborhood? Because we are county and that is city. So we just want to make a note for something.
Okay.
Because we don't really know what,
Right.
I mean, you got all the, who knows who's going to be living there, so.
Yes, ma'am.
For clarification, is the access road going to be running through county or city property?
City.
City property.
515 is up to my house, is city. At my house, we become county.
Okay.
And
So
this
the access
is
road is going to be,
Everything that we
beside
touch
and behind
is
me.
You remember those two commercial signs were, I don't know where they're outside?
Yeah, right
That's
across
the
from-
entrance. That's it right there.
Yeah, that's city limits right there.
so next to your.
Okay, you know what else?
That's not a place that could-
And basically, we, the county and the city in general, have never involved, they pretty much make the rules, and we just adhere to them. And so that's where, I don't have all the answers, because I'll get the requirements from them, and we'll meet whatever they require. So we're just in zoning right now, so there's just a whole lot of unknowns.
I understand, I do the same process.
Got it.
Mr. Douglas, Sonny, anything else?
Other than, what I reiterated, we would just recommend approval with adhering to all the sections of 94 with those conditions.
We need a motion, then? You want some?
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the zoning change for Parcels 065-055-002 of 17.3 acres located on Highway 515 South, 065-054-003 of 5.99 acres located on Green Road, and 065-053 of 7.82 acres located on Green Road, be rezoned from agricultural to, excuse me, be rezoned from C1, excuse me, to residential agricultural and planned unit development.
I second the motion. All those in favor, say aye. All right. Next is, Mr. Douglas, if you'll read us that one, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. The next item for the public hearing this evening is a request for annexation of parcel number 043B-100 of .4 acres located at 160 Old Tate Rd, annexed into the city as R1 low density single family residential. We did at the staff level receive a request from the applicant and owner Cynthia Navarro in regards to this property is a candidate for annexation in so much as it abuts existing city limits. There was a desire to annex into the city as is an existing single-family residential property. I think there was a desire to hook onto the city's sewer system. In the staff analysis, because there was no proposed change to the existing land use, we did consider the fact that it is currently a detached single-family residential unit with no desire for any increase in density or development. Therefore, it's essentially coming into the city at a lateral type zoning. Therefore, there's very little negative or adverse impact economically and otherwise. It does meet all the requirements of staying in the suburban infill in accordance to the joint comprehensive plan. So with that, staff has reviewed that this would meet some of the requirements of 94-43 of the zoning ordinance, and we would recommend approval. I'm not sure if Ms. Cynthia is here this evening or not, but other than that, Mr. Chairman, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions if need be.
I make a motion that we approve the annexation of parcel number 043-100, 0.4 acres located at 160 Old Tate Road to annex into the city as R1 low density single family residential.
All those in favor? I second the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Motion passed. I guess that's the end of it. Motion number 2. We need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.